Good evening, everyone. It's time for some more development, but I don't know what we're going to work on tonight. So, if there's any ideas in the chat, then I am willing to work on something, even if it's not going to be sort of game related as such. But in the meantime, I have updated the terrain texture with some macro variation so that it isn't all exactly the same. I can let you see that. Okay, no I can't, but yes I can. Okay, so we had added to the new thing here with some macro variation, which is then lerped and multiplied into the layer blend. Okay, so I had meant to work on that for a while and then never had. So we finally got that sorted out. Okay. And the other thing we did today was we got all of the saving of the game into a workable state, right? So we can take a look at it here. So if we continue, we were checking on this, and basically all of our conveyor belts, the references, everything is working perfectly. Okay. And there we go. So the idea was to work on something a bit different, and I was hoping that there'd be a few more people in to let me know what you wanted to see me working on. But that doesn't seem to be possible, unless there's anybody in the chat there that wants me to work on a specific thing. Right, so probes working, grids are working, stats are working. Now we've got two things here that aren't operational at the moment, and that is the power, which I'm not 100% sure on how I'm going to do that yet. I've got a couple of ideas, but I don't want to jump in headlong until I've got an idea in my mind of how it's going to work. And the other one is vehicles, which is kind of another one that is don't know yet. So the other two things that I had sort of mentioned was hotbar. Okay, a hotbar for building things faster. So you've got like your main menu here, which would obviously have to change to a degree, plus your hotbar, you know, in your typical hotbar type scenario. So we could work on a prototype hotbar and see how we get on with that. So yeah, why not have a little look at that and see how that is going to work. Now, as I said, I have no idea how it's going to work. So the only other thing we could do is basically something I really don't want to do on stream, which is basically model, right? And I'm an absolute shocking at Blender, so I prefer not to see or let anybody see me doing my terrible attempts at modeling. So there's always that as well. Now, okay, so let's go to our game, right? And let's create a new folder, and we'll call it hotbar. And let's attempt to do a hotbar. Sounds good? Or sounds reasonable at least. So we'll create a widget. We'll call it hotbar. Well, actually, we'll call it W underscore hotbar main. Okay. And basically, we're going to have a grid. So let's well, actually, we're going to have a horizontal box, right? And that horizontal box is going to be like that. It's going to be 0, 0. And then the Y offset, we can call it, let's say 2. Okay, and it's going to be sized to content most likely. And then what we can do is, inside the horizontal box, we can have a uniform grid panel. And we're going to call that UGP hotbar. And that's if I can spell correctly for a second. So we'll do that. UGP hotbar. It's going to be a variable. Then we're going to save that. And then we're going to create another widget. It's going to be W underscore hotbar item. As underscore item. Right? And that's all well and good. And we're going to probably do, we're probably going to delete that, right? We're probably going to drop in an image. Okay, we're not going to drop in an image, right? What we're going to do is we're going to drop in a button, right? And then we're going to call it button hotbar item, right? And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create variables here. So this is actually going to be, we're going to delete this, right? So I think what we're going to need here is a struct. So we'll kind of come in here, we're going to do our structure, and it's going to be struct hot bar item. Okay, now not 100% sure how this is going to work yet, but we'll soon find out. And it's going to be item, and I believe this is going to be item. And we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, we're going to leave it at that for now. And our actual hotbar main, what we're actually going to do here is we're going to wrap this in a vertical box, right? And we're going to use a widget switcher, okay? So we're going to have two horizontal boxes. So we're going to have another horizontal box in here, right? And this is going to have buttons in it. So we're going to have button, button. We'll sort, actually, you know what we'll do? Is we'll set one up first, and we'll call this button widget switcher index 0. Okay, and we're going to zoom in on this. Okay, and what we're going to say here, or we're going to give it an image, right? And the image is going to be buildings, I believe, this one. And so we're going to do that. Okay. And then we're going to duplicate this. And this is going to believe, well, it's not called connectors. Don't know what it's actually called. It should be in images. So it should be UI images in game. So it is, which one is it? It's spline. It's going to be 64 by 64. Okay. And I'm guessing we're going to have well, I suppose we might have vehicles. I doubt it, but I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as this kind of works. We can do whatever we want, and if it's working, then we can change it as necessary. Right, so we can go 64, 64. And these are going to be our widget switchers. Okay. For our skill bar. Sorry, our hot bar. Okay. So for our hotbar item, right, we're going to delete that and delete that. Going to go to designer, and this is a button. So what we'll do is we shall say conveyor, and that's not a very good one. And that's not a very good one either. It doesn't really matter which one we pick here, to be honest. Right, because we can go, we're going to be going 64 by 64. Save that. Right, and that is an item. So what we can do is in hotbar main, we can come to here, right, and delete that, then we're going to add variable, and it's going to be call count, and that's going to be an integer. And that's all we actually need. Okay. So next we're going to say for loop right, and that's going to be 0 to 9. Okay, and basically we're going to be doing that. Going to be getting the hotbar. Then we're going to be saying create widget. And we can basically type hot, and it's hot item, right? And we're going to say add child to uniform grid, and it's always going to be row 0, but the column is going to be call count. Drag that down and over there, drag that there. The content is going to be this. We are going to pass in something to this, which is going to make it be able to do something. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our call count, and we're going to increment it. Now this isn't necessarily absolutely necessary, because what we could do is grab it from the index, right? But this is if we change it later. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and get our controller, right, and we're going to get our test keys, and this is the inventory widget. So we're going to kind of do something similar to this. So what we'll do is copy and paste that, and this is going to be our hotbar. So what we'll do is we'll change this to H for a laugh, just as a just for test purposes. Okay, and then this is going to be hotbar main, and then this is going to be a hotbar and main. We'll save that. Right, and this is because this for each loop, it's not going to like that, but we'll do for each loop again. That should square us up, and we can just go in here and join that back up, refresh that, and obviously we've joined that back up. Okay, so this is the beginning of our hotbar, and you can see that we have pretty much nothing. Which is cool, except it's not cool, obviously. And we're going to change this. That's going to be an image, right? And what we'll do is we'll actually change it to, let's say, building. We'll change it to this thing here, okay? Then we'll say 64, 64. We'll save that. Okay. Or in fact, let's change that to 100 by 100 and save that. And let's take a look at our hotbar main. Right, so we've not got our widget switcher yet, so that doesn't really matter. And this horizontal box is fine. Right, now the interesting thing is, if we do that, we save that, then we run it, H, and these are flickering for some reason, not sure why that is. Okay, whatever. So we will set that to size to content, and this is fine. Right, I think we're happy with that. I don't know if we need this horizontal box to be full or not, but let's have a look at this. Now, actually, you know what? If we look at our struct, our hotbar item, right, what we should really do is copy that and paste it. Right, and then paste it. And what we'll do is we'll give it this blue tint. Right, and this should be image, and this should be image, and these will be, I'll set the styles of these up in a variable, a default variable, right? So I'm beginning to think I want to wrap this in a canvas. And if I wrap that in a canvas, right, we'll just do that. And if we save that, we'll see how that looks. Okay. Alright, I don't know what's going on there, to be fair. I'll stop that for now. And we should be in hotbar main. And what we want to do is we want to check to see if this is actually getting added. Right? We want to see if this is actually getting added to our grid. which it should. There's no reason to say it shouldn't. Right, so that's 0. Right. And we can do that. Right, so that's giving us our hotbar item again. And this should be 1, that's right. Resume. Resume. Right, so this should now be 2. Yep. So these are definitely getting added. Right. The problem is now is basically, where are they? Unless they're off screen in some manner. So what we'll actually do here is right, so if we move that to there, right? UGP. So that's fine. So this is all a bit weird. Why this isn't working? Yeah, that's cool. And our buttons should be here, but they're not. Don't know why. Well, this is all rather strange. All rather strange indeed. It has to be said. Right, so let's have a look at something else. Okay. So if we go to your designer, right, and let's wrap this with a canvas panel, right? And that should be full. Size the content. Then we'll see what this does. This is a strange one. I don't usually have that many problems with this. But there's nothing there. This is bizarre indeed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get our hotbar item and I'm going to stick it in here. And apparently it's tiny. Is that the reason it's not working properly? Nope. that's not the reason either. Well, okay. So if we put our hotbar item there, actually, if we put our hotbar item here, save that, press play, continue, press H, again it's not there. Well, that's interesting, I do think. So whatever's going on with this item, has this got any weird? No, it's visible, is enabled, everything's cool. And it is a button. Right. Okay, so that's better. Okay. That was weird, but anyway. So hotbar designer, delete that. Right, those are fine. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have a selected one, and the selected one is going to be blue or a different colour or something, right, so that you can tell the difference. Okay. And that's definitely looking better. Okay. So this vertical box is going to be 0. And it's going to be centered. And that is going to be 0.5. Right. And that's better. And these are our like hot buttons. Right, so these are going to be our different things. And now what we'll do is we'll start by selecting an actual one of the things that we want here. So this is going to be building, except it's not. It's going to be refiner. Okay. and this has been reset. And 100, and we shall just bang this back. Right, and this will give us a better idea of how this is going to look. Right. Yep, we're buying that. We are definitely buying that. Now, what I need is, now we need something around this, like a border, for example. Right, to give us our sort of better button look, right? So let's first of all push this. Oh, well, that's not very good. Interesting. And we get our 2, but I'm thinking that might have to be 3. Okay. And that's still away up there for some reason. No idea why it did that, to be perfectly honest. Nope, I've got no freaking idea why it's doing that. Right. So we're doing that. Right, but that's not really what we want. What we want is this. And that should be a maximum of 1920, which it's never going to get to, but why is it up there? Why in the godforsaken nonsense is that away up there? Right, there's nothing in the translation or anything that's thrown it off. Right, we're doing a bit of widget RAM wrangling again. And it's this vertical box that's doing all the damage here, right? If I set that to 0.5, I'm going to see where this is going to end up. Right, so that's way down there. So that's fine. So we're going to say 1.25. And even that shouldn't work. It does, you know. So there is our hotbar, right? Looking good. And on that, we are going to go and grab ourselves a cigarette. So stick around, guys. Check out the description for some links for some interesting stuff, and I shall be back in a moment or two. Don't go anywhere. Okay guys, we're back and still taking a look at our hotbar. And this is going to be interesting because right, okay, we're going to stop this for now. What we're going to do is we're going to work on these, right? So we have our widget switcher, right? Then we have our horizontal box. Sorry, we don't have our widget switcher yet, right? But what we're going to do is do we actually need a widget switcher for this? I don't believe we do. Right, we could do something similar. Right, let's have a look at this for a minute. In the old system, it would pull out the things from here, right? So in theory, we can do exactly the same thing, okay? And when we click on these buttons, then we can change these as necessary, right? So what we can do is we can look at the code and do exactly the same thing, but add it to the hotbar, right? So let's have a look at the code for the building menu, right? And this is it here. And if we look at the graph, right, we do this basically, and add it to the graph, right? And we can change this as necessary. So we go to hotbar main, we come to here, and we do that, right? And we create that. But we don't do that, and we don't do that, right? We do that. Now we may have to change some of that other stuff, but we delete that and we do that. And that might be us. Right, so if I hit H, there we go. Right? But we do like this button better. So we need to find out which of these things we require, or alternatively, right? What size was the hotbar? Hotbar item was 100. Right, so in theory, these are still pretty big. And this was 100, 100 image, 100, 100 image, 100, 100 image. We can stop that, save it, and the thing here is, if right, so that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So we'll see how this looks now. Still very big. And I'm not too sure why. So I can only assume that there's something here that is resizing this. Right, and this is the blue color here. And this has got a border on it. So let's do that. Okay. And that's interesting. Okay, whatever. So our border is basically going to be transparent. Okay. And we can press play, continue. Now I can only assume here right, if we go back to hotbar item, main menu, designer, actually graph, right, this is the image size. So this is the thing that's making it too big. And there we go. Okay, so actually the thing here is when we actually hover over this, right, and we actually create the location, and it's not that, get building cost, button clicked. So I'm going to have to go with the button tooltip, and the button tooltip is going to have to be here. for this to work. H. Yep, that's better. Right, so that's better. So if we go back to our hotbar main and we do that, and then this is at the bottom, we'll have a 10. Right. Then save that. Then in here we have a very similar thing. We can copy that, right? And then we can go to our hotbar main, go into here, and we can paste it. Right, now we'll make this a custom event, right? And this is going to be buildings menu. And by default, right, we ain't gonna do that. We might use that later though, but let's not worry about that. We're just gonna say buildings menu. Okay. And then this one, we're going to add another custom event, and this is going to be connector. I'm going to zoom in here a bit for you guys. So that's going to be connector menu. Right, and we're going to remove that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that, and that should do us. Okay, so when we click on that, we're going to say connector menu. Right, and as part of connector menu, we're going to say UGP. We're going to get that, and we're going to clear. Right. I'm going to drag that up to there. And we're going to do exactly the same thing again. Except it's going to be down here. Alright. And then we're going to say set call count 0. And we're going to say index 0 clicked. And we're going to do the same thing again. Except it's going to be buildings menu. So we can save that. Press play, continue, H. There we go. Right. And in here, we do 100, 100, 100, 100. We save it. And actually in our main, in here, you can copy that, paste it, say 64, 64, paste it, 64, 64. Then the second one, we can copy that, paste it, paste it. Then we can copy that, and paste and paste. Save that. And we can now check on this. Okay. Now, the thing is, we're going to have to put blanks in where there is nothing, so it doesn't resize like that. We can stop that for now. And that's going to be image, and that's going to be image. Save that. Change this. That's going to be image. That's going to be image. Save that. Okay. That's pretty cool. And on that, it's been pretty quiet tonight, so I think I'm going to take an hour off. We'll have a further think about this while we're doing it, and we'll continue building it. Right, we really need to do the mouse over for that as well. But, yep. So, yeah, that's going well. So we'll stop it for now. If you've enjoyed the stream, click subscribe and like, and check out the description for Discord where everybody's welcome. And if you want to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and also my game on Steam, and even for no cost you can add it to your wish list, and that's going to help me in the Steam algorithm. And I shall catch you all tomorrow at 2 PM Central. Bye bye for now.